Preface of The Portent. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Portent by George MacDonald. Preface. A story of the inner vision of the Highlanders, commonly called the Second Sight. Dedication. My dear Sir, Kensington, May 1864. Allow me, with the honour due to my father's friend, to inscribe this little volume with your name. The name of one friend is better than those of all the muses. And permit me to say a few words about the story. It is a romance. I am well aware that, with many readers, this epithet will be enough to ensure condemnation. But there ought to be a place for any story, which, although founded in the marvellous, is true to human nature and to itself. Truth to humanity and harmony within itself are almost the sole unvarying essentials of a work of art. Even the rhyme of the ancient mariner, that which what more marvellous, is true in these respects, and Shakespeare himself will allow any amount of the marvellous, provided this truth is observed. I hope my story is thus true, and therefore, while it claims some place, undeserving of being classed with what are commonly called sensational novels. I am well aware that such tales are not of much account at present, and greatly would I regret that they should ever become the fashion, of which, however, there is no danger. But, seeing so much of our life must be spent in dreaming, may there not be still a nook, shadowy but not miasmatic, in some lowly region of literature, where, in the pauses of labour, a man may sit down and dream such a daydream as I now offer to your acceptance, and that of those who will judge the work, in part at least, by its purely literary claims. If I confined my pen to such results, you at least would have a right to blame me. But you, for one, will, I am sure, justify an author in dreaming sometimes. In offering you a story, however, founded on the second sight, the belief in which was common to our ancestors, I owe you at the same time an apology. For the tone and colour of the story are so different from those naturally belonging to a Celtic tale that you might well be inclined to refuse my request, simply on the ground that your pure Highland blood revolted from the degenerate embodiment given to the ancient belief. I can only say that my early education was not Celtic enough to enable me to do better in this respect. I beg that you will accept the offering with forgiveness, if you cannot with approbation. Yours affectionately, George MacDonald. To Duncan McColl, Esquire, R.N. Huntley. End of Preface.
Chapter 1 of The Portent. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Gemma. The Portent by George MacDonald. Chapter 1. My Boyhood. My father belonged to the widespread family of the Campbells, and possessed a small landed property in the north of Argyll. But although of long descent and high connection, he was no richer than many a farmer of a few hundred acres, for, with the exception of a narrow belt of arable land at its foot, a bare hill formed almost the whole of his possessions. The sheep ate over it, and no doubt found it good. I bounded and climbed all over it, and thought it a kingdom. From my very childhood I had rejoiced in being alone. The sense of room about me had been one of my greatest delights. Hence, when my thoughts go back to those old years, it is not the house, nor the family room, nor that in which I slept, that first of all rises before my inward vision, but that desolate hill, the top of which was only a wide expanse of moorland, rugged with height and hollow, and dangerous with deep, dark pools, but in many portions purple with large belled heather, and crowded with cranberry and blueberry plants. Most of all I loved it in the still autumn morning, outstretched in stillness, high uplifted towards the heaven. On every stalk hung the dew in tiny drops, which, while the rising sun was low, sparkled and burned with the hues of all the gems. Here and there a bird gave a cry, no other sound awoke the silence. I never see the statue of the Roman youth praying with outstretched arms, and open, empty, level palms, as waiting
Sample complete. Ready to continue?